Maryland's 90-day legislative session starts on Wednesday, and one of the biggest agenda items this year will be the blueprint for Maryland's future.
That's right, and our state is facing a multi-billion-dollar deficit. As Project Baltimore's Chris Papps explains, much of that is driven by education spending, which a growing number of state leaders says needs to be slowed down.
The blueprint for Maryland's future passed in 2021. The law pumps $30 billion additional tax dollars into public education statewide over the first 10 years, and then $4 billion additional dollars every year after that. The increased funding comes from a mix of state and local dollars. The law, in part, increases teacher salaries, expands pre-K, and bolsters career and technology training. But when the legislature passed the law, it was not attached to a funding mechanism.
Our fidelity is to our students. They are not to our formulas.
Now, nearly 4 years after the bill passed,
And we will implement the parts of the blueprint that we know work.
some lawmakers, including Maryland Governor Wes Moore, are saying there may need to be some changes as the state faces a projected $2.7 billion budget shortfall in 2025.
This year, I will propose a pause in the implementation of collaborative time provisions in the blueprint for Maryland's future.
Speaking at the Maryland Association of Counties last month, Governor Moore announced plans to pause some elements of the law, though he did not provide specifics. But for some, this move was inevitable.
It's a self-created hole.
Years ago, Senator Justin Reedy, who represents Carroll and Frederick counties, tried to warn lawmakers in Annapolis that education spending was sending Maryland towards a financial cliff.
Yes.
We last spoke with Reedy in June of 2024 when Moody's credit agency downgraded Maryland's financial outlook to negative from stable, largely because of education spending.
I think it's alarming if you don't change course.
Reedy and other Republicans have argued the blueprint can be fully funded if it's implemented over 14 years instead of the current 10 years, which would significantly reduce the strain on state and local budgets.
You don't have to raise taxes, and you also don't need draconian massive cuts. You just need to slow down the rate of growth, and we can address a lot of our outstanding budget issues.
State and local education leaders are calling for a seat at the table to discuss the future of the blueprint.
Do you think that the legislature didn't think the blueprint through properly?
Nice question, Chris. I will not, legislation is not where I work, so I will not, make any characterizations about how they went about this process.
In the coming weeks and months, local school systems, such as Baltimore County Public Schools, will be finalizing their budgets for the upcoming fiscal year that begins on July 1st. Concerning the blueprint and the pending budget deficit,
All signs are pointing to another difficult budget cycle.
Concerning the blueprint and the pending budget deficit, BCPS Superintendent Dr. Miriam Rogers recently told Project Baltimore she hopes there will be flexibility from Annapolis concerning how blueprint money is spent, because school systems will be crafting their budgets as Annapolis may be making cuts to the state budget. And that could be a recipe for problems.
They want to know what our priorities and needs are before moving into formal session. We're having those conversations. We're going to meet with them. We're going to tell them and move forward together. Last year, we did a lot of great work together, and I have no reason to expect anything but the same this upcoming year.
In the coming weeks, Project Baltimore will be watching what happens in Annapolis, and we will update you on any bills that impact education. I'm Chris Papst, and this is Project Baltimore.
I'm Chris Papst. Thanks for watching. Here's another story to watch. Also, if you have a story idea, please send us a message.